Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Beth Ann, and today I'm talking about a novella that I read recently. This is A Hank of Hair by Charlotte J. This is a psychothriller that was published in 1964, and Charlotte J. Is a pseudonym. Her name was Geraldine J. And then she published some mystery novels, I think mostly under the name Charlotte J. But then she also published some regular, not mystery or crime or thriller novels under the name Geraldine Halls, and she was Australian. And I picked this up totally on a whim from the library. I had a few seconds to browse while my kid was playing by herself in the library. And so I found some interesting books. And so, yeah, this was a total impulse pick, but perfect for October. So I don't feel like I missed out on all the spooky reads that other people are reading. To me, this was a little bit of a creepy psycho thriller. I think by modern standards, it probably wouldn't be creepy to a lot of people, but I definitely found it to be a little creepy. It's sort of a deep dive into the psychology of one individual. This is a very insular story. The whole thing is the narrator, who's the main character, Gilbert Hand, is telling us his story, and he's literally telling it to an audience. So it has that, that sort of conversational tone to it. So Gilbert Hand, at the beginning of the book, has recently lost his wife, Rachel. She died of an accident. It was a ship collision, and drowned. And he has been left with enough wealth that he doesn't have to work anymore because his wife was independently wealthy. And so when she died, her wealth passed to him. And so he's no longer working, and he moves to London and is living in a couple of sort of like hotels, but longer term, and rooming houses, boarding houses, I guess. And at the beginning of the book, he's just moved into a new one. He is also pursuing a new hobby. He's become really interested in Japanese prints. He had sort of collected them for much of his adult life, but now that he is single and has plenty of leisure time, he's now spending his days at the Victoria and Albert Museum in London studying Japanese prints. So he just moves into this new boarding house, and the room that he moves into has an antique Victorian Davenport, a small piece of furniture with drawers and cupboards and things. And he's sort of exploring around it. He has a similar one in his permanent home. And he remembers that the one in his house has a secret compartment. And so he opens the secret compartment in this similar Davenport in his room, and he finds a length of women's hair, a hank of hair, a hank of black glossy hair that's wrapped in green silk in the secret compartment of this Davenport. And he becomes sort of obsessed with this hank of hair, and in particular in finding out who it belonged to and why it ended up in a Davenport in his room. And so the book, the sort of psychological thriller part of it is we follow his growing obsession with this hank of hair to a thrilling conclusion that I will not spoil. So I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a little bit creepy. I thought it was well written. I think it's a 4.5 star book for me. And I was just going to read one little passage just to give a flavor of what the writing is for anybody who might be curious. So at this point, he is sitting in the print room at the Victoria and Albert Museum, which is the room where you can go to and you can request materials from the museum, and then you can study them at your own table in the room. And so he's been doing that every day. So he is at the print room for the day. He's been looking at prints. This is shortly after he has found the hank of hair in the Davenport. And he's sort of spaced out while looking at a print he really liked, and then he realizes that he's not really thinking about the print anymore. For there came to me abruptly and vividly, like a visitation, a recollection of my discovery in the Davenport. I hadn't given it a thought all day. Now it came, or rather rushed, plunged back at me. The hiding place in the Davenport, my hand touching something soft that was alive, the green silk bundle, my terror when I opened it. How vividly I remembered it, and how extraordinary the whole thing now appeared. Suddenly I wanted to hurry home and look at it again. Why? Don't ask me to tell you. Perhaps I felt that by examining it, I might understand something about it. Then again, this was, in a sense, our first encounter. He was sitting there directly behind me, though I didn't know it at that moment. I suspect that I sensed him, his hunger and his dread. You think that's far-fetched? Remember, I was living alone. The world might have been empty. You'd know it, wouldn't you, if somebody suddenly crept into your empty world and crouched in a corner of it, looking at you, wanting something you had, hating you, afraid of you. Well, we won't go into that. It's only speculation. I began to pack the prints away. The catalog was open in front of me. I closed it, rose to my feet, and turned, for the shelves in which the catalogs were kept were behind me. Half a dozen people sat working at the tables at the back of the room. I remember a girl wearing black-rimmed spectacles shaped like butterflies' wings. I remember, you can trust my memory, don't forget there was very little going on that I wanted to recall. I caught a glimpse, so brief that all it brought me was an impression of a man's face, pallid and white-eyed. He quickly bent his head. If I had been less preoccupied, I might have stopped and waited for him to look up again, for that haggard stare seemed as personal and arresting as a hand laid on my shoulder. So that's towards the very beginning of the book, as he's just sort of starting his descent into obsession with this piece of hair. So yeah, if you're into the sort of psycho-thriller thing, especially ones that were written 60 years ago, and, you know, sort of reflect that time period, then this might be the novella for you. I really enjoyed it. All right, so with that, I will sign off. I hope you're all having a good time reading whatever you're reading, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.